you said hello, I knew that was the end of it all. I should have stayed at home, 'cause now there ain't no letting you go. Am I falling in love with the one that could break my heart? Oh no, I was doing better alone. But when you said hello.
All right, everybody, we're going to get started in 30 seconds. Thank you, everyone, for logging on. This is our first episode of the Top Producer Podcast. So we'll be getting started just very shortly. Thanks for logging on. All right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. We are excited to say the least. And today we have on a very special co-host with me, Mr. Shakeel Cooper. How you doing today, Shakeel?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
We're doing good, man. I'm really excited to be doing these podcasts with you.
I'm excited to be doing it with you also.
And we had a good idea to, we feel that's a good idea. Hopefully everybody else will feel that this is a good idea as well, to really showcase people that are in our home-based business industry. We're all just from different walks of life, all different people, and we have all come together in this industry for one reason or another. And we're going to be interviewing over the next several weeks. We're going to be introducing top people in the industry, not just in our company. We're going to be inviting other top producers on as well, and people that have climbed the ranks. So Shakeel, what do you think about that? How are you feeling about this whole thing?
I'm really excited with everything that's going on in the world now. Everything's moving digital. I just really think it's a great opportunity to hear other people's stories and, really be motivated, because I remember getting involved in this industry at 20 years old, and hearing other people's stories was just, it motivated me to get to work at a young age. So I know what it can do for other people also.
Yeah. And we're going to be taking, people can leave comments. We are also on my personal Facebook page. We also have this recorded. We're going to be posting this to YouTube as well, so people can go back and hear the recordings. We've got people that are commenting on our posts already, and we're on Zoom, we're on Facebook, and we will be on posting these on YouTube as well. So this is something that's different. We're not, this is not a training for our company or anything. This is just to get to know people, hear stories of how people got introduced to this company or to the industry, hear stories of why people decided to join this industry over other industries, because there's a lot of different things people could do out there to make money and build a business, but why people decided to join this industry. And then we're going to be hearing, some strategies, not just about the different companies that we're in, but about entrepreneurship, business, other things that people are doing out there to have success in business and their life. So, Shakeel, how are you feeling about this whole thing?
I'm feeling great. I'm really excited. I've always been thinking about, doing a podcast, but who would ever thought, I would actually be doing a podcast. So I'm really excited because I've always been thinking about it, but now that it's here, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to get you hooked up with the official podcast mic and stuff, man. So you can see we're getting official. You're next. So, so just to go over everybody, this is our first episode. So we're always welcoming feedback. You can post in the comments. We might even have some time to ask a question, have Mr. Cooper answer some questions. Shakeel is actually going to be our first guest, episode 1, but he's going to transition to actually being a host with me. We're both going to be hosting this podcast every Friday, 1 o'clock. And we're going to be inviting other people in the industry onto this podcast. This is not a one company based podcast. We're going to open it up to other people in the industry, maybe with other companies. And we're just going to be telling stories and talking business and talking success. So this is going to be, we're going to go over how this is actually going to work. This podcast is open for anybody that would like to learn about the home-based industry and maybe be curious about it, interested in it. This is not a presentation. This is not going to be a presentation podcast. It's going to be for people that maybe are considering the industry, people that are in the industry already, in different companies, just to hear why people decided to get started. I think that being in this industry, it's so important. And what I love most about it is the stories, the people. That's really what motivates me, hearing other people's stories on why they decided to get involved, their past, their future, what's going on in their lives. So I think this is going to be a more intimate podcast and intimate webinar than all the others out there that maybe are people are doing just presentations. That's great. We're plugging into all those as well. But I think we're going to do a little bit of a spin-off on this one. Shakeel, do you have anything to add about how that's going to go down?
Honestly, I think this is going to be the best podcast in network marketing history, because we're going to be interviewing some of the best, but more importantly, honestly, getting a chance to hear people's stories, their real stories, some of the things they had to go through to get where they're at today, is really, really inspiring to me, because I'm a person where I always study successful people. So getting a chance to hear some of these people's stories, and it might be their first chance, getting the chance to really share, their stories about what they went through to get to where they at. So there's going to be a lot of great information that's going to be taken away from this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm really excited about it as well. A lot of times we get caught up in the day-to-day grind, and, that's what we got to do as entrepreneurs and business people. But we're on Fridays at 1:00. We're going to be taking a step back just to hang out, relax, chill, learn about different people and what people are doing across the country. And, got some really good questions for people. So this is going to be a podcast that's probably going to be about 45 minutes long. We're going to have some good questions for people. And today we're going to start out with Mr. Shakeel Cooper. And, this is a young man that I've had the pleasure of being in business with and mentoring. I met Shakeel when you were what, Shakeel, 20 years old?
20 years old.
And so why don't we go ahead and just kind of get that kicked off? How did you, let's start with your background, man. Why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, how, family, past, present, future. Why don't you give everybody a little bit of background about yourself?
Okay, sounds great. So for everyone on today's webinar, a little bit about myself. My name is Shakeel Cooper. I'm currently 27 years old. I'm from a small island in the Caribbean called Trinidad, and I moved to America with my parents and my siblings at 10 years old. And when I came to America, I always wanted to have the American dream. I remember being young, and I used to sit on the steps, and I used to watch the airplanes in the sky, and I used to say to myself, one day I'm going to be on that plane. And I remember, actually for the first time getting on the airplane and coming to America, and I always knew that one day I will be successful, because I'm in the land of opportunity. I'm finally here. And working jobs like, I started washing cars to make some money. I started working with my uncles, in construction. Then I landed my first job at 17 years old as a lifeguard. So I was a lifeguard for a year. I learned how to swim on my own. The following year, I worked at Applebee's when I turned 18 years old. I worked at Applebee's from about 18 to 20 years old. And I was going to college at the same time. So I was a full-time college student working a full-time job at Applebee's. And one of my close friends invited me out to meet this guy named Mr. Roop. And from there, history was the rest.
Mm. Hey, man. And I can remember it like it was yesterday. This is you're probably the only, well, not only, but you're going to be one of the people that I know the most on here, because we've been working together ever since you joined. So, that's incredible. You not even being born in the United States, coming here when you were young. Tell people a little bit about your family background and how you grew up. We hear sometimes people say, you can't be successful in business unless you have rich parents or you have privilege. Tell everybody about your case, because I think your case is a lot different than a lot of people think that most successful people's backgrounds are.
Yes. So, my family, the only person that owns a business is my stepdad. And that's a painting business. I'm not a handyman, so I've never got involved into, the quote unquote family business, but no one in my family is successful at any businesses, honestly. All my people in my family, they all work jobs, they all work 9 to 5. They never sat around and talked to me about building wealth. I'm probably the only real successful business owner in my family because I made a decision to do something different in order to get something different. So I'm kind of like the black sheep in my family while everyone was just going down the same route, going to school, go work a job and, do what they do. I chose to become an entrepreneur and basically create the lifestyle and the life that I truly know that I want for me and my personal family, with today me being a dad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and you, how old's your son now?
He is 2.5. He will be 3 in November.
3. So, and you named your son. What's your son's first name?
His name is Wolf.
Wolf. And why did you decide to name him that?
Because my business, my brand, is called Wolfpack Marketing. So everything that I do, I wanted to be tied to him so that when he gets older and he see, Daddy, what's Wolfpack? What's your name? My name is Wolf. He will be able to kind of tie both of those together.
That's awesome. And so, when you got in when you were 20, so tell people a little bit about that. How did you, you didn't see ACN, you didn't see your company, that's the company you're in. You didn't see it on social media and just reach out to somebody. You didn't see it in the newspaper or on a job post or anything. How were you introduced to ACN? Why don't you walk people through that?
So I was going to college, and I remember one day just driving home from work, randomly getting a call, from a friend of mine, and he was like, "Man, we're about to be paid. I just met this guy. You need to meet him." He was just excited about meeting Mr. Roop and all of the other leaders, because he was going to school on the Eastern Shore, close to Delaware, and I was still in Baltimore. So he was away from school and he was coming home and he was just really excited. And his excitement, it got me curious. And I actually had the chance to meet Mr. Roop. And when I met these individuals, honestly, it was like, this is my chance. It was like a light bulb went off. And from that point on, I always knew that in order to be successful in life, you have to have a mentor. You have to have a coach. And I look at people, for example, I know everyone been at home watching the Michael Jordan documentary. And if you look at people like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, the reason why they're the best in basketball, because they had the best coach in basketball. So in order for me to become successful, I knew that I had to have a great coach, someone that I can model myself after, someone that I can learn, because I'm coming from Baltimore City. I don't know anyone that really owns any successful business, or more importantly, I didn't know anyone that really had the true time and the freedom and the lifestyle that I knew I wanted. So I had to find a coach, and luckily, Mr. Roop was that person that had what I wanted. So I was coachable from day one, and till this day, I model after someone like him because he's been able to go through ups and downs, and I've never watched him complain or give up. So for me to be able to have someone that's a coach like him, that no matter what goes on in his life, he just continue to go every single day. He's fired up, he's excited, and he's always pushing me to my limits.
Yeah. And I appreciate that, man. Do you, what did your friend, so your friend was going to college. Okay. I know a little background about this, in Delaware. He called you up. Do you remember? So he said, we're going to get paid. And then what did he say after that? I mean, how did it go after he got you excited?
Honestly, he was like, "Man, these people, they got the cars." At that time, he was just excited about cars in his life. I remember he used to sit around and just look at cars all day. And he seen the cars. We was young. We was 20 years old. At 20 years old, what get us excited? Cars, homes. We talking about, man, we want to get rich one day, but we didn't have any plans. But when he saw some of those things, he was just excited, because in Baltimore, we don't see that. We see abandoned homes and a whole bunch of other stuff. So by him getting a chance to just see a whole different world, he was able to pour his excitement into me. And then when I saw everything, I was like, this is it. I'm going all in. And I made a decision on the spot that I was going to be 100% committed to this. 100% committed, and I stopped doing everything that I was doing, and I just put my head down. And for the past 7 years, this is what I've been doing. I've been on my entrepreneur journey for 7 years now.
So did your friend tell you about the company over the phone, or did he invite you to a meeting? How did that go? Tell people, explain to people the first day you saw it, how that went.
So he actually invited me to an event. He didn't explain anything to me. I didn't know what I was coming to, and if he probably would explain it to me, I might have showed up, I might have showed up. But I know for a fact he did not explain it to me. And that's why I showed up. And the reason why, because I had plans that Saturday. I remember I had to go to my little cousin. It's called a christening, a baptism. And that's my little cousin. And, I really love my little cousin. My family, they all had plans. And I was the only person I didn't go. I actually took the risk of coming downtown Baltimore to a big event. And when I came to the event and I heard the stories and I saw that one of the individuals that was at the top of the company, he used to be a 5th grade teacher at the same elementary school that I was attending. So to hear that someone went from being a broke college teacher, graduate, working at the same elementary school that I was attending, I was like, this is a sign from God. I need to do this. So my friend didn't tell me anything. I just came out, saw the information, and I was blown away. I was blown away because I actually got a chance to meet people that was working at the same school that I was. And I know for a fact that was probably one of the worst schools in Baltimore City. And if you can go from being a teacher there to becoming at the top of the company, what's my excuse? So I'm the type of person where if somebody else can do it, I feel as though I can do it too.
That's awesome. And so you were 20 years old. What were you doing when you saw this business, this industry, and you went to a meeting? Because it kind of seems like this just disrupted your life and your life just took a completely different path. I mean, what were you doing before you got involved with the company?
I was partying, wasting my money on sneaker collections, just wasting money as a young kid, just want to party with my friends, want to do what everybody else is doing, and, chasing girls, just trying to be the man, at 20 years old. And I understood that, if I continue to do this for the rest of my life, I'm going to continue to end up just like everyone else around me. And I didn't want to do that. So at 20 years old, I was just a kid just trying to figure out who I am in life. And I'm so blessed and fortunate that ACN did come to me at 20 years old, because I watched where everyone that I was hanging out with at that age, I watch where they're at today, and they're nowhere where I want to be. The fact that I'm probably the only person out of my whole entire group of friends that actually decide to really do something as far as becoming an entrepreneur and help other people, in the process. Most people, they started business and things like that, but the fact that I was able to do something that was able to impact, the city, but more importantly, people all across the world today, tell me how much my story, have motivated them to go out there and build their businesses, because they watch someone like me with no business background, dropping out of college, quitting my job for a dream that I truly believe that I could achieve. No one, pushed me to do it. My parents thought I was crazy. They said, what are you doing? You need to go get a job. You need to go do this. You need to do that. But I made a decision and said, I'm not looking back. There isn't no plan B. It's only plan A. And I make a decision where once I start something, I'm going to finish it no matter what happens during the process. Because it's the things that happen during the process is what's going to make you. Most people think once you get to your goal, or you get to the end of, whatever you want to achieve in life, you're going to be happy. But honestly, it's the things that you learn during the journey that really makes you. And once you get to the top, you're going to appreciate a little bit more, because now you learn valuable lessons and information and things that's going to help you for the rest of your life.
Wow. Yeah. And you said a lot of powerful stuff there, because, being young, 20 years old, you could have been doing a lot of things. I mean, a lot of kids your age, are excited about college, and you were also in college, right?
Yes.
And you were going to what college?
Morgan State University.
And you were waiting tables, right?
Waiting tables full time, living in, at that time, I was living in my grandmother's house. It was just living in my grandmother's small room and, her closet, basically trying to save some money because I had to pay for college out of pocket.
Yeah. And so you were busy, and a lot of young people, whether they're in college or they're trying to get a job, sometimes make the decision that they want to focus on college or a job, and they're too busy to do ACN, and not just young kids, but adults kind of get caught up into the day to day and they think they're too busy to get involved with this industry. How did you fit it into your schedule, or how did you overcome that challenge of being busy and still, decided to do this?
Honestly, I just got tired of living my life paycheck to paycheck. I just got tired of just getting paid, waiting for the weekend, spending all my money, and then working again. And I just got tired of the cycle, honestly, because just at a young age, because I started working when I was, like 11, 12 years old. I remember, washing cars, making $100 a day while the owner was making maybe $1,500 a day. So I always knew hard work. So, when most people say, you got involved, in the business at 20 years old and you became successful so fast, but they haven't seen that I was working since I was 11 years old, all the way up until I started, to become an entrepreneur. I already put in almost 10 years of, labor of doing different jobs and different things like that, that most people, they probably still don't remember me being a lifeguard, riding my bike to work because I couldn't afford a car. I couldn't get a driver's license until I was 17, almost 18 years old, so I had to continue to do a bunch of little jobs and things like that here and there, getting paid under the table, to be able to survive. And when I seen ACN, honestly, it was just like a light bulb went off. It was just like, this is your chance. And if you don't take it now, who knows what I would be doing? Because I look at everyone that I grew up with, everyone around me, they're all probably still doing the same thing. They're all still doing the same thing. So the fact that I chose to do something different and I was able to get a different result in my whole entire life totally changed. I can't even imagine that I would be able to have a lifestyle where I can have my own family, where, I can travel when I want to. I can just be free. I'm not, binded to a cubicle, or I'm not doing something that I don't like just to pay the bills. I didn't want to live my life unhappy. And on the outside, I'm looking happy to everyone else because, I'm getting paid good money, working a job and things like that. There's nothing wrong with it, but I know that I wasn't happy doing what I was doing. I had to find something I was passionate about, but more importantly, something that can affect other people. Because if you're just doing something in life that only affects you, then you're really not doing anything. That's what I tell people all the time. Everything in life has to be bigger than you, because we're put on this earth to help other people. We're put on this earth to leave it a better place than we met it. So my goal is to be able to be an example to people just all across the world that listen. I came from Baltimore City. I came from a small island. I came from literally nothing, because I remember being in Trinidad, playing under the house, playing in the dirt, walking around with slippers on. We didn't really have a lot of shoes because it's hot outside every single day. So I remember being on a small island to come into America, the land of opportunity, and not truly taking advantage of the land of opportunity, because there's so many people here that you literally at 15, 14 years old, you can go get a job.
Yeah.
I couldn't get a job until I was 17 years old. So I had that build up in me that I can't wait until everything gets in place, because as you know, most immigrants, they come here looking for jobs. They come here looking for a better life. But me, I want to be on my own boss. I wanted to own something. I wanted to be able to create my own time. I just didn't want to be binded, by, just working, 40 hours a week, living paycheck to paycheck. Then, because I watched my parents and I watched my family do that, and still to this day, they're complaining that they don't have enough money to pay their bills. And I'm 27 years old. So for 27 years, they've been complaining about bills. I didn't want to have that happen for my family. I wanted to cut the cycle of poverty. I wanted to cut the cycle of just working just to pay bills.
Yeah. I mean, to me, and then I got my real estate license when I was 19. So you were 20 when you got involved with this industry. And I look back and I'm like, man, I wish I would have done this industry, before or while I was doing real estate. And because when the last crash happened in 2008, I saw a couple of my friends in the company, they just kept soaring past me, and I was living the worst years of my life. So, to do something, and I want to hit on this just a little bit deeper, because a lot of kids, a lot of younger people your age are just so into go to school, get a job, they're excited about that. And we're not saying that's bad, but what inside you, really deep inside you, made you just want to be different? And was that when you saw the company, or did you always kind of have that feeling that you were different?
I always had that feeling I was different. I remember my grandfather, he always just told me, like, you special. Like, he was the first person that honestly ever believed in me since a young kid. And I always knew that I was different. Like everything about me was just different. Even though I was hanging around with some of the people and things like that, I just had to go through different things in my life early to see like, this is not what you want in life. And I knew that I wanted to become an entrepreneur. I always knew I wanted to become a boss. I always knew I wanted to have my own time, because growing up, I was the person where I didn't like people telling me what to do. Even if it was in school, things like that. I wasn't a bad, student. But when it came to just, people just telling me what to do, when you can eat, when you can leave and things like that, I just was like, it never rubbed me the right way. So I was like, when I get out of school, I'm going to start a business. I remember I wanted to start a mobile car wash business. I remember trying to save up my money just to start any business. But luckily, network marketing came right away. I remember sitting in my bedroom. I remember to this day, right now I get plan, I was like, I'm about to start a mobile car wash. I'm about to start a mobile car wash because that's what I knew how to do great. I knew how to wash cars. I can go in your kitchen, take some dishwashing soap, and I can give you a car wash. And that's literally, I knew how to wash cars until this day. I'm really still excited, about it, but I wanted to have really true time freedom. I knew most business owners was owned by their business. So I did a lot of studying. I always studied people like Warren Buffett. I'm a person where when everybody was watching, stuff on TV, I was watching documentaries. Still to this day, I study successful people. I study what they do. I read books, and I just literally, I study them. And I study, okay, so in order for this person to have true time freedom, they had to do something different. They all owned a business. They all went through ups and downs. They all took risks, and they all did these things. And a lot of them, they did it at a young age. You look at people like, Mark Zuckerberg. He became one of the youngest billionaires because while all his other friends was partying, he was sitting in his dorm room coding all day, working all day. And I was the same way. While all my friends was partying at a young age, I was really out there learning and mastering this industry every single day, taking years and years and years without a single day off. I haven't even been on a vacation since I was probably 19. Throughout the company, they gave us retreats, and you can agree, it's a difference between a retreat and a vacation. A vacation is what you pay for, a retreat is for free. So I've been on a few retreats, but the fact that I told myself that I'm going to work hard in my 20s. I'm going to dedicate my 20s to just work hard, just put my all in. While all my friends are partying, all my friends are traveling, while all my friends are living their best life on social media, they're living great to everyone else, I was sacrificing. I was working. And everyone would tell me, why are you always working so much? Why don't you go have some fun? You never take time to yourself. But I understood that I have to sacrifice my 20s so that I can have the rest of my life back. I look at most people that took their life serious. They work, they save their money. And, by the time they're 40, they sitting up, and they living good because they made great decisions in their 20s. When most people in their 20s said, man, you're young, you only live 20s once, enjoy your life, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do the opposite. I wanted to work hard, grind hard, put in all my work. Now, in my 20s, even being a dad, and spending time away from my son, building my business, because I know that he's going to appreciate it more because as he get older, he's going to be able to have all the time freedom for us to do whatever we want to do. So most people, they don't think about the future. They think about the right now. And you can't think about what's going on right now because if you make a decision today, if you plant a seed today, your family can eat off of that tree for the rest of their life and for generations to come. And that's kind of how I look at my life because growing up in Trinidad, you walk out back and you can pick a mango off the tree. Those seeds that people planted years and years ago, you didn't go to the store and buy fruits. You can go to your neighbor's yard and pick fruit. So I remember, just being able to go wherever I want to and just pick a tree because people planted those seeds years ago and people now are still benefiting from it. So I look at my life, if I plant seeds now today, 10, 30, 40, 50 years, maybe 100 years from now, people will still be able to benefit off of the seeds that I've planted into their minds because all you need to do is have someone plant a seed in your mind, and from there you can do whatever you want to do in life because it don't matter your background, it don't matter your race. Listen, nothing can stop you if you have a mindset that you can do something. Nobody can stop you. The most important thing in this world is a made-up mind, and once you have a made-up mind, you can achieve anything possible.
Wow, that's powerful, and it really shows that you have done a lot of self-development, personal development, and you planted that seed. And I've watched you over the years. You're my first guest. And I've seen the day in, day out work that you've done and the consistency that you had, and, you know, just having that dream of being one of the top people in the company. Talk about that vision and how important that is, because I think from day one, you always knew, you know, you didn't know how you were going to get there or how this worked. You had no background in anything like this, but what really motivated you through the challenges, the problems, the obstacles? I mean, tell people about some of that and what really pushed you past all that.
So I remember getting involved, and I'm hearing a story that say you need to get a journal. First of all, I write, it's called chicken scratch. My handwriting was so bad that I couldn't even read after I wrote it. So, you know, I never really used to like to write things a lot, especially journals, because my handwriting was bad. And I've realized that people that have, you know, chicken scratch handwriting is because they're always thinking. So they write really, really, really fast. So it wasn't really a bad thing. So I really was sat down one day and I said to myself, you know what? Let me take the time to put down all my goals, all my vision in a journal. And fast forward today, I have about 20 journals. And to this day, I save all of my journals. They're in the closet. And I go through the journals sometimes and I look at it. I remember my first day becoming an entrepreneur, I wrote down senior vice president or nothing. That was the first thing I wrote down, meaning that I was going to get to the top of this industry. I was going to be the number one person. People are going to know about me. People are going to write stories about me. I knew for a fact that when I got involved, my goal was to go big. I'm not doing anything to be small. So since day one, I had the vision of being the best. In order to be the best, you got to train like the best. And how do you train like the best as an entrepreneur? You don't take days off. Every single day, you're working on your business and you're working on yourself. You just can't choose one or the other. Most people, they think, I can just work hard. Yes, it's great. But how hard are you working on yourself? How hard are you working on your mindset? Because this thing we call life, you're going to be tested along the way. And you're going to be tested by so many things that you probably never thought about what happened to you. You just don't know what to do. And most people, when things like that happen, you just became stuck. You just become confused. And what do confused people do? They do nothing. They sit in there, their sorrow, they sit in that, that pit, and they just sit there forever. And me, I understood that I'm going to go through so much because I don't know the industry. I really don't know anything about business. I'm taking a risk. I'm risking it all. So in the process, I have to do stuff. And one of the books that I actually read was, where's my favorite book of all time? Think and Grow Rich. Mm-hmm. This was one of the first books that I ever read. And the reason why I read this book, because every successful person read that book. So I started doing what successful people do. Successful people focus on working on themselves the same way they was working on their businesses. So while most of my friends was at night partying, I was in a house writing the vision boards. I was in a house writing down goals, studying these successful people. And the reason why I became successful, because I thought about it, and then over time, it became reality. See, the first thing that you have to do is think it in your mind. If you don't think that you can get to the top of what you're doing, then you're not going to get to the top. If you don't think that you're going to become successful in life, you're not going to be successful. Everything first starts in your mind before it happens. Most people just think, they can work their way to where they want. Yes, it's great, but first, you can work hard, but if you truly don't believe that you can achieve it, you're never going to achieve it. So the number one thing I would tell every single person on this webinar today, get this book. Get this book. Develop the mindset of thinking of the things that you want to be in life, thinking of all the things that you want to have in life, because if you can think it in your mind, you can have it in your hand. And some of the things that I went through really quick, friends and family members, first friends and family members, they didn't support me. I remember people made jokes about me because I was one of the first people to get involved in this industry, in Baltimore. They never heard of this before, or, they probably heard about it, but they never heard of a young guy from Applebee's getting involved and blowing up in a couple months. How in the world you go from Applebee's to 6 months later, you're the youngest top person at that position in the company? How does that happen? The reason why, because between those 6 months, I worked every single day. I never took a day off. I don't even know what it felt like to sleep back then, because we was just grinding. And having someone like Mr. Roop, he just pushes you, especially if he know for a fact that you have it in you and you're coachable. He's just going to drive. He's going to push you to the limits that's out of this world, because honestly, I never knew that I had it in me until he pulled it out of me. I was like, man, this guy just don't stop. But he was just every day, do this, do this, do this, do that. And I would just do it. And I find that everything that I do that he told me to do, it will work out. So throughout those years, I just kept doing it. And I just kept becoming coachable, because if he told me what to do my first couple of years in the company, and I got to the top as one of the youngest regional vice presidents in less than 4 years, why would I stop listening to him now? Just imagine you having a coach that took you from Applebee's to youngest regional vice president, to get him promoted in front of 20,000 plus people, sharing your story, being paraded in front of 20,000 people. You're being put in the air and you're looking around and all you see is though you've made it. The feeling that I had when that happened showed me that everything that I went through was all worth it. My friends leaving me, my friends backstabbing me, family members talking about me, nobody supported me. Everything I went through throughout the process, the ups, the downs, the valleys, the peaks, every single thing at that moment was all worth it, because everything that I went through made me the person I am today, and I wouldn't change it not one bit.
Shakeel, you're a very powerful leader, young man, and I'm going to show everybody here. You talk about your promotion, and I know that was a very emotional day for you. I don't think you could stop crying all day, and I was crying, and that was just an amazing victory to watch you achieve, because we knew what you went through, and like you said, all those obstacles. I'm like tearing up right now just thinking of it. But let's show just a brief clip to everybody, and I'm going to show everybody a little bit about your promotion here, because when you got in ACN, you saw it, that vision, you saw how big this industry could be, you saw the home base, you saw the concept of how it can grow and spread. So, I remember when I got promoted to this position, but I'm going to go ahead and show everybody just a little bit here, just so they can see how this day turned out for you. One of the best days, I'm sure, of your life. You can hear everybody.
This next gentleman was working at an Applebee's as a busy college student when he was introduced to the ACN opportunity. He attended a coalition team event in 2013 and saw it as a way to help fund his college education. It turned into be so much more than that. 4 years later, he is able to build his global business from home while raising his brand new baby. Please help us promote to the position of Regional Vice President Shakeel Cooper.
And I remember this special day, and you can tell that you were definitely very emotional, and these are the co-founders of the company, and you're getting regional vice president.
First thing I want to say, I just want to thank God. I just want to thank God, because without him, I would not be on the stage today. I remember almost 4 years ago, I came to a coalition regional event, and I saw ACN for the first time. I was a broke college student working at Applebee, serving 2 for $20s, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And I saw ACN, and I took it serious. And I got started in this business. I spent the last money that I have on a credit card to get started. And when I saw that you can change your life if you just go out there and do the work, the stories that I heard at that regional event, it just inspired me to go out there and just do amazing things. And it's not just me. This promotion is not because of me. This is promotion because I'm going to be an example to a lot of people that no matter your age, no matter your background, no matter your race, no matter what, you can walk this stage as a regional vice president at the age of 24 years old. I had no business background. Nobody in my family owns a business. But I saw a system. I saw a system that if you follow this system, and when I got started in ACN, I haven't took a day off. Every single day I worked this business day in and day out. I made a lot of money and I did a lot of bad things in my past, and I'm so blessed and honored that God still put ACN in my life, because without ACN, I do not know where I would be today.
Shakeel, this is just watching it, makes me emotional. How does watching this, today, couple years later, how does that feel every time you watch that video?
It just brings you back to just everything. I try not to watch it because it makes you emotional, but every time I watch it, just looking at myself, if you watch that video, I've really put in the work. I've really put in the sacrifices, and, I took the long route. While everybody was trying to take the shortcuts, I said, I'm going to take the long route. Because I remember when I went to college for the first time and they had a orientation, they said, look to the left, look to the right. The person that's on the left, the person on the right is not going to be here a year from now. And over my journey, I look to the left, I look to the right. I'm still the only person standing here that I personally started with. All the friends and everybody that I met when I first started, I'm the only person that's standing here today. So it truly shows that, I developed the right mindset of look to the left, look to the right. Not everyone is going to stick with you throughout the journey, but as long as you continue to put your head down and you just continue to push, that you're going to get to where you need to go. Because most people, they look around them and they look at, if my friends are not having success and things like that, why am I going to have success? They look at everybody else's success and they kind of try to tie it to their success. And they got to understand that only you can determine your success and how far you go in life. And as long as you just keep pushing, as long as you never give up, and as long as you persist. And that's one thing about me is, though, I never quit, I never give up. I might become emotional sometimes, we're humans, I might get in my feelings sometimes, but guess what? I never quit and I never give up, because if I quit and if I give up when things get hard or things get challenging, all I'm going to do is teach my son how to do is become a quitter. When things get hard, he's going to just want to quit. But he's going to know that no matter what his daddy went through, his daddy never quit and he never gave up. And that's why he have the lifestyle that he has today, where he don't have he just do what he want to do. And just imagine being a kid, just your parents develop a lifestyle where you can just do what you want to do. You don't have to be in daycare. You don't have to, go to a school that you don't like because, daddy got to go to work and, I just got to pay for what I got to pay for. So just seeing him just be free and just, honestly, I was just watching. I just got a picture from his grandmother. He just be on his phone. He just be on his phone on YouTube Kids, just learning. He's only 2.5 years old, but since the age of 2 years old, he know how to use a phone. He know how to watch videos and study, and it's just mind blowing because a lot of the things that I have is already being passed down to him. So I know that I'm doing something great because just the fact that other people are inspired to just never give up. Like, don't give up. Life is, listen, you will be tested. No matter what career, no matter what industry you're in, you will be tested. And if you look at the people that's at the top of where they are at today, I look at people, I was watching a documentary about Jay-Z. The guy went from, a hustler in New York, basically broke, to becoming a billionaire. I remember people that came from nothing and they're billionaires and millionaires, and if they can do it, why can't I do it? I always ask myself the question, if someone else can do it, I can do it also. I don't care what it is, because I have 2 feet, 2 hands, 1 mouth, 2 eyes, and if they can do it and they had the same things, I can do it also.
Man. Well, Shakeel, such a powerful podcast today. And, I feel the passion in you to help others, to change your life, to help your family. You've always had that vision from day one to create an amazing life for you and your family. And back then it was your future family, because you didn't even have a son back then. So you saw that from the very beginning. And as we go ahead and close here and, wind this down, I'd love to keep going with you we could go on and for hours and hours and days talking about everything we've gone through, but just to keep time short, one question, like we keep hitting on a little bit, 20 years old, a lot of people would go to school. They want to go get that job. You could have done other things. You could have got involved with real estate. You could have got a good job. You're a hard worker. You would be a valuable asset to any company or organization. Why multi-level marketing? Why this industry when so many people, may discount this industry or not give it a chance, or they don't see the vision or, the big picture. You could have done a lot of different things. So why did you choose this industry and this company to pursue for the rest of your life?
Honestly, the reason why I chose network marketing, I did a research, I Googled, what created the most millionaires? And they said real estate and network marketing. And I knew that you need money to do real estate. You can't do real estate, $500. You need some money to do real estate. So I was like, you know what? What if I really get great at multi-level marketing? Because that's the industry where you can go from literally nothing to something. I've seen a lot of stories about people that went from nothing to something and they made it in that industry. And I said, what if I did that and I become so successful, and in the future I can do real estate. I can get involved in real estate, own some land. These are some of the things that I want to do, but I had to be real with myself. I had to say, you know what? Get great at one thing before you going out there and running around trying to be great at everything. I said, let me master one thing. Let me master something that I know if I put in 10, 15 years, I know for a fact that I can literally get to the top and create a real lifestyle that's generated some great income on a weekly and a monthly basis. See, at that time, I was being real. Most people at 20 years old, they're not being realistic about their goals. They just have all of these crazy goals. They want to be 5 different things at one time. They want to own this business. Then they want to they want to be a stock trader. Then they want to open up this salon. They want to do so many different things. A jack of all trades and a master of none. I wanted to master one thing at a time, because I understood is that it's like a garden. If you spread the water out too far, then some of the plants are not going to get the water and the nutrients that it needs. But if you have one specific goal, one specific thing that you want to accomplish, you're going to put all your energy. It's basically like laser focus. When a laser stretches out wide, it loses its power. But when a laser focuses on one thing, just think about it. You get a magnifying glass and you focus on one thing with the sun. You can turn anything on fire through that. So that's the mind. I had that mindset at a young age, that laser focus, that master one thing. Don't try to do everything. It might take you 5 years. It might take you 10 years. It might take you 15 years, but master that one thing. Because I watched everyone around me just trying to do this, trying to do that, and they never mastered one thing. And they find themselves unhappy because they're just doing things that everybody else is doing. They're doing what the trend. See, at that point in my life, doing MLM wasn't the trendy thing to do, because I was being talked about every day. Imagine people telling you, you're scamming people, you're doing this, and all I'm doing is offering people an opportunity, because all people knew back then was go to school and get a job. They didn't know that you can choose an industry like network marketing and become successful and really develop a lifestyle. And for going on 7 years, that's all I've been doing. So imagine from 20 years to, your whole entire 20s, that you didn't have to work with someone else, that you your own boss. Where in the world do you have an opportunity where someone can go from Baltimore City, Applebee's, to becoming the top of $1 billion network marketing company? How is that possible? Why? Because I had laser focus. I didn't care about the things that wasn't working around me. I didn't care about who didn't want to go to the top. I knew that I wanted to go to the top. I had a mindset that I was going to get there no matter what, and I'm never going to quit. I'm never going to give up, and I'm going to use everything that I went through to make me a better and a stronger person. And honestly, looking back now, everything that I went through, I will go through it again. And the reason why I would go through it again, because the knowledge and the information, the things that I have at 27 years old, most people never achieve in a lifetime. It's not about the material things. It's about the mindset, because they can take everything. You can't take the blueprint. You can't take the things that I learned throughout the journey. You can't take some of the things that I was able to achieve. I know for a fact that if I can do it one time, I can do it again. And I can do it again times 10. I can do it again times 100, because I have the mindset. So you have to develop the mindset. You see, you got to understand that no matter where I go, anything that I do, I will become successful at it, because I have the right mindset. No matter where they put me in the jungle, I will be successful in the jungle. If you put me in a forest, no matter where you put me, I will come out on top, because I am unstoppable and I have the mindset that I can achieve anything that I put my mind to. So everything comes down to your mindset, and you got to develop that mindset at a young age. Don't wait until you're older in life, because when the older you get in life, you start to get stuck in that same mindset. You ever heard the saying, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks? It's the same thing in life. You know, just think about it. If you had a dog that's been around for 10, 15 years, it's hard to teach them a new trick. But you got a puppy, someone that's young, that's eager to learn, they're going to learn everything that you teach them. If you just keep teaching them over time, guess what's going to happen? You're going to develop the right mindset into that animal. And I feel as though I'm an animal. I'm hungry. I'm ready to eat. I'm ready to get to the top. I'm a wolf. That's why my company is called Wolf Pack Marketing. Why? Because I'm a wolf. And guess what? If you don't know one thing about wolves, is that nothing can stop a pack of wolves in the wild. Everyone is scared of the wolves, because when you see the wolves coming, you know that they're hungry and they're not going to stop until they eat. And that's my mindset. I'm not going to stop until I eat, my family eat, my team eat, and we're going to eat all the way to the top, and we're never going to stop.
Wow. This is going to be a tough podcast to beat for the next person coming on, Shakeel. You did an amazing job, and Shakeel is actually going to be my host, and we're going to be hosts together. And we're excited. I know we had some questions, Shakeel, but with our time that we've taken, I think you've answered all these questions. I read one here. Thanks, guys. This is honestly what I needed to hear. Can I ask a question? What do you do to maintain your business? Because I find myself achieving short-term goals, but find it hard to maintain it. And I think that Shakeel just answered that question. I think it's being consistent and having that laser focus, having the vision, and not letting anything stop you. And, you know, Shakeel, I'm really excited for what we're doing with this podcast. We're going to be announcing who we're going to have on next in the next day or two. We're going to have another flyer with that person on it. And guys, this has been recorded. I will upload this on YouTube this weekend, and we're going to have them again. So if this helped you all, please comment. We'd love to hear you. This is being recorded on my personal Facebook page, Adam R. Roop. So my middle initial R, last name R-O-O-P. You can get on there and tag some people that you might want them to hear this. And Shakeel, how do people follow you on social media? If you can let them know real quick before we end.
So if you want to follow me on social media, it's just Shakeel Cooper, ShakeelCooper. And, you know, send me a DM, you know, send me a message. You know, honestly, I'm so excited about this podcast because this is just the first one. And if you guys don't understand that this is going to be one of the biggest podcasts that has ever been done in the MLM industry, you want to get ready. You want to go out there. You want to get to work so that you can be featured as one of the speakers on our podcast.
That's awesome. And yes, and again, you know, invite some people that have seen the companies that you're inviting them to. Let them see different perspectives, hear different stories from people in the industry. That's exactly why we're having these podcasts. We want to share the stories. We want to get to know why people decided to get involved with this company, how they got involved with this company, and what they're doing to have success. So if this podcast helped you, everybody, please go ahead and share with us. We'd love to hear your feedback, and we really appreciate having everyone on our podcast. So we will see you. We will see you next Friday, 1 o'clock on the Top Producer Podcast. Thank you so much, Shakeel. You did an amazing job. You're going to be a tough act to follow. So let's make it a big week, everyone. 2020 is a big year for our industry. We can help a lot of people. People need what we have. There is a better way, and we can offer it to people. So get out there and share the word. Get out there and share the positivity, and let's change lives all around the world. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you all next week.